So I noticed that we have students and staff members and faculty all in here to hear about the library. So I'm really excited about that. Let me go ahead and start my screen share. So the first thing we need to be able to do is find the library's website. So there's a couple of different ways to get there. If you're starting on your Ivy Learn account, let me get my little, I like this little red dot that you can see, so you can follow my mouse a little easier. So if you're on your Ivy Learn and you go into resources, there's lots of wonderful Ivy Tech resources available to you here, and you can connect to the library from Ivy Learn. So this is what we call the statewide page for the library website, and you can see all of the different campuses listed below. If you're on your My Ivy, mine looks a little different since I got my staff member than yours will, but under your quick links, if you do see all, you'll probably see 2 libraries. So these are in alphabetical order. Scroll down until you see some L's. All the Ivy things. So I have library, and when I hover over it, this one says Indianapolis Library because Indianapolis is my home location. So one of these will have a location of wherever your home campus is. So I noticed we had some Sellersburg folks, we had some Indy folks, we had some Fort Wayne folks. You may have any of those, those libraries would be listed here. And then you have one that says library statewide. So again, that one is going to take you to this statewide library page. And we're going to use this as most of our jumping off point today, but know that there are specific location. You can also access the library for your specific location. These will look a little bit more, they look a little bit different. They'll have slight differences between each location, mostly because we're, introducing different staff and we might have different programs that we offer at different locations. But you can get to all of the stuff that you want to be able to access statewide from this page as well. If you start with your My Ivy and you sign in through, you sign into My Ivy and then you go to the library page, that should keep you signed in. So you shouldn't have to re-authenticate as you go through here. But if ever you see, the green Ivy Tech login screen as you're trying to access library information, just sign in with your regular Ivy Tech username and password, or, your email address and password. So one of the marvelous things about the library is our library staff. And our library staff are here to help make sure that everybody is being successful. So the library is a tool and the librarians are a tool that you can use anytime throughout your career here. You can talk to us once a week, once a semester, whenever you have a research problem or an information seeking issue that you might like a little help with. So it's important to use the tools that you have available to you to help you be successful, right? So the library is one of those tools, and we hope that as you go through a class, if they're like, find an article to help you and talk about it in your discussion board, or find 2 articles and write a little paper about it. It doesn't have to be major, but finding information through the library, our library staff can help you through that process. And 2, using library information will help make sure that your information is credible and that, it isn't just some random thing that you might have found online. So that's a couple of the nice things about using the library. So librarians are specially trained to look for information, to sort through information. We all have a master's degree in library science. And so in that master's degree, we've learned about storing and organizing information, databases, card catalogs, books on shelves. If you can categorize it and put it into a system to search it, we learn about that stuff. And then we learn a lot about how to pull that information out of those systems. And as academic librarians, a lot of what we do is helping you use those systems in the most efficient way possible. So we have, in a couple of weeks, we hope to have another session that's really more detailed about how to find the articles that you need within the library. But if you need help now, like tomorrow, next week, you can still get a hold of us. So whether you are an in-person student or a strictly online student, you can access us in person at your local closest library, or you can access us electronically. So the ways that you can do that here, if you go to Ask a Librarian, you'll see this form. Be as detailed as you can. So since this has this more detail button, tell us what class you're taking. Tell us a little bit about the assignment. Tell us definitely about your topic. If you've already tried something, tell us what didn't work. Try to describe the wall you hit so we can help you over, under, or around that wall. This submit your question form through Ask a Librarian sends as an email. So we receive it into our queue, and the first librarian who will see that question will answer it for you. But again, since it's email, you want to add as many details so that we're not sending a lot of questions back and forth. We want to be able to send you the best answer we can from the beginning. When chat is available, you'll see this green chat button. So chat now. At the end of the day, when we've all gone home, this chat button will go away, but this email form will stay there. So you can send us a question at 2 o'clock in the morning and we will answer it the next day. The chat now button will give you, I don't want to click on it and make somebody answer the question, but you'll get, let me actually scroll from the previous page. It's linked here. Okay, so I can't see the form, but you'll see a little form that's more condensed than this. So you start with your question, tell us what location you're from, and the next available librarian who's watching that chat queue will answer it right away. So the chat is a nice back and forth with a live human being. We can connect in that chat session. We can put you into a screen share, into a Zoom, so we can work together, sharing our screen together and walk through your whole research problem with you, helping guide you through those steps for that research. Have we had any questions yet? So questions go, are they?
Yeah, we just had one question about that they go to a specific campus or a general queue.
So yeah, so the questions, the Ask a Librarian email questions will go into a general queue. It does list your home location. So the librarian that's in the home location will try to answer that first. If the question sits for a while and isn't answered, then a librarian from another location will answer that. But some questions that come in are librarian specific or library specific. So if there's a Fort Wayne question, you know, what time do you open or close? Or do you have this particular book on the shelf right now? Or where's a good place to park? You can ask us anything. I may not know the answer to that question since I'm in Indianapolis. The chat now kind of depends, because we do have separate chat queues. If you use the one off of this statewide page, it goes into a statewide queue, but there are local queues off of the individual campus library pages as well. Sometimes if there's nobody watching that, so like if we're in Indianapolis, there's nobody watching that right now, it might roll over to the statewide. So the answer is yes and both to that question. But again, you can ask us, any school related question. If you're not sure who to ask, we may not be the ultimate authority on that question, but we can certainly direct you to the right person and try to connect you to those offices if you're having a hard time getting something done. So the last couple of weeks, we've answered a lot of questions about textbooks, helping people access their textbooks and order the print copies of their textbooks. It's not our office. The library isn't in charge of that, but we can still help you through it. And then this week, we've done a lot of how do I print things, right? So as far as being in the library. So they may not necessarily be research related questions, but you're still welcome to ask them. I'm going to click back on the library homepage. So again, number one thing is our staff is here, specially trained to help you through those research questions. So please ask us before it's the last minute. I'm always sad when somebody says, oh, I've been working on this for a week and now it's due in 2 minutes. And as soon as you start to feel like, I've done my best and it's just not working for me, I'm not finding it, go ahead and ask us. You don't have to wait till the last minute to use all those tools available to you. So besides our wonderful library staff, when you think of libraries, you probably think stuff, books, magazines, maybe other items like, videos or music, all of that kind of stuff that you might expect to see in the library. We have all of that library stuff available to you electronically. Most of the time, we subscribe to collections of stuff. So there are a couple of ways that you can access that stuff through the library. And again, I'm not going to be really detailed about it because we'll pop back in a couple of weeks, hopefully when you guys are getting more into your research projects and go and have a session going over these things in a more detail. This Discover search tries to search most of what we have all at the same time. So say cats is my usual thing. So if I search for cats through that Discover search, you can see that there are a couple of different ways to add limits, but I have books, I have DVDs. Eventually I would find there's an audio, an e-resource in music from the cats. We have some kitty cat yoga as an ebook. And eventually, because this is so general, I'm getting lots of results, but I would find magazine articles, journal articles, all of those kinds of things in these search results as well. So that Discover search tries to search everything that the library has. It doesn't cover all the stuff, but the vast majority of stuff that the library owns can be searched through there. Sometimes that can get a little overwhelming. It may not be specific enough for the search that you're trying to do. So over here on the right, we have this A to Z resources button. And that will show you the stuff we have by collection. So Academic Search Complete by EBSCO. EBSCO is the vendor, just like you have a company that runs your cell phone package or something. EBSCO is the name of the vendor that we get that through. Academic Search Complete is the name of the collection that we subscribe to. It's a good place to start for just about any question. Multidisciplinary just means it's talking a little bit about everything. Some of these are specific to an area of study or an academic discipline. So we have anatomy, we have applied science, we have African American experience. So some of these are, like I said, really specific to an area of study or an academic discipline. Some are specific to a format. So in the E's, we see all these ebook collections that we have. So not all of them, but they happen to start with ebook. So there's quite a few lined up there in an E. So that's by format. And again, in the Fs, we have films on demand, and those are video collections that are streaming. So some are general, they're broad, they talk about everything, like Academic Search Complete. Some are more specific to a particular topic, and some are specific to a particular format, like video or audio or ebooks. When you want to search one of these, you can click on the title of it. So we have quite a few things by EBSCO, and so you'll see a similar layout, a similar search screen for any EBSCO product that we have. And again, you can search for your terms. And again, in the other session, we'll have some more specifics about how to use this a little bit more efficiently. But you can see in this search, we have mostly magazine and journal articles, but we do have a few videos. We have images. So say you need to do a speech for public speaking and you need some images to use for that. These are images that you would be allowed to use, that are, if you cite them properly and all that good stuff, these images would be good ones to use. That is a good question. So the question is, does Films on Demand have resources in Spanish and English and other languages as well? I'm not honestly sure about that answer.
I know we have, so this is Heather, I know we have questions or content that is for different languages, but I'm wondering if we have content that is in different languages.
I'm going to
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do a quick peek and see if language is an option. Other search options, no. It doesn't limit by language, so I'm thinking that since you can't filter it by language, they're probably English only films.
We do have a world languages section that will teach you how to speak another language. But I don't think there's any content in here that is translated into another language.
Show that quickly. But I can't place my eye on it right away.
Way down there at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Now I have, yeah. So these would be, as Heather said, I could learn about French culture and history, but I don't think it's going to be in French. Although this one does appear to have both listed.
But Helen's right, you can translate some articles into different languages, and there are other tools and other databases that translate the content for you.
And that can be helpful if English isn't your primary language. They are translated via, AI robot. So they're definitely going to miss the nuances of any given language. But if there's a particular concept that you're struggling with and English is not your first language, transferring it into your first language might help with clearing up what that concept is. So it can be helpful. Let me pop back to the library's homepage again. So again, the A to Z resources button and the Discover are both places that you can start to search for the stuff. Besides the actual library stuff, we have library guides that are library created websites that help you through different kinds of topics. So these are the ones that are statewide. You'll see if you go to your home campus library, you might have more of these. But for example, this one is really helpful, the citation guide. So again, we will probably have a more specific workshop on this towards the end of the 8-week session. But if you need help writing your APA formatted citation, or getting that into the proper format. So like there's an APA style template. So if you need to write something in APA, you can start with this template. And so that'll set you up as far as your, go ahead and open that. So you can open this, save that document. And of course it's popping over to the other side. There we go. And it'll help you set up your title page, and it already has your page numbers set up, and it has a beginning set up for your references page. So that's a good place to start. Again, we'll have another session that goes over that information in a little bit more detail, hopefully towards the end of this semester. But that citation guide off of the statewide page can be really helpful. We also have some how to do research basic tutorials in here as well. If you need to do some research and you want to get a little head start on that, these can help you out if you're I want to find my own answer kind of person. Let's see. Were there other questions?
Yes, there was one question about databases offering translations. That tool is found in many databases, so we would have to have a look in the one that you want to use and see if there's a translation option there. I know Credo offers translation for all of its entries. So Credo reference is like a reference database. So, and then there was another question about, are there any subscriptions to professional organization for journals or published papers that students have access to?
Pardon me.
I'm not sure. And I think we're looking for journal titles. I think we'll go over that in our research basics course. But if you do have any specific questions, you could just reach out to the library with those questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, so we don't subscribe to any necessarily to any professional organizations in order to get those journals, but you will find a lot of professional journals in the databases themselves. If you're curious about a particular one, and you can contact us, you can try to use the publication finder in the meantime. I know that EBSCO also has a translate function, but it only works on their, what they call HTML full text, and not on the PDFs.
Have any other questions?
Yep. So we told you we were only going to keep you for a half an hour today. So we just wanted to give you a brief overview. If you remember two things, remember the library exists and we have stuff. And number two, we have people to help you find that stuff. Right. So we really appreciate you guys coming in today to see us. If there are any questions, pop them in the chat.
Oh, I missed this one. Okay. Are there any resources for faculty to help students who are new English language learners? Good question.
Good question, and not one I'm sure I have the answer to either.
There may be a library guide out there that someone has created for ESL, but that is some, and I will get that contact information. It's from, and we will follow up with you. I think there may be something out there. Any other questions we can answer for you? Right. If you think of something as soon as this presentation ends, just, you know how to contact us now. Use the Ask a Librarian feature. Our next session will be Friday, February 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to cover some research basics. And we'll put up an announcement in your Ivy Learn. So look for that invitation. And thanks everybody for their time today. Thank you for attending. We hope to see you again.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate it.